Hello, all. All right. Today's framework is virtue ethics or Aristotelian ethics. If you have not read the chapter already, please do that now. As with other videos, my goal is to add some thoughts to the points that are in the reader, not necessarily to rehearse what you read already. There might be some crossover, but again, I would like to maybe extend some points. All right, let's roll. And be on page 34 of your reader to take notes. All right, let's go. Okay, up to this point, we have looked at deontology or Kantianism, utilitarianism or consequentialism, and care ethics. These are all act-centered. It is concerned with what is the right thing to do. And as we've explored, they take different paths to figuring out the right answer. All right? Virtue ethics is not act-centered. It's what we might call agent-centered. Instead of asking what is the right thing to do, virtue ethics is concerned with who is the right person to be. So what follows is a philosophy that is concerned with being a virtuous person, not necessarily what is the virtuous or morally permissible act that one should do, but being virtuous. How does one become a virtuous person? All right. So we start with this idea of proper function. We might say that a spider spins webs. Based on the web that this spider has spun, maybe not such a great spider, honestly. Or maybe it was a beautiful web at one point and it just got destroyed. A hammer, right? The proper function of a hammer is to drive nails into boards and pull nails out of boards. Okay. That is the proper function. What are the proper function of humans? Humans, the proper function is exercising reason. And humans exercise reason in order to be virtuous, okay? In the same way that an acorn is built so as to become an oak tree, a human is built so as to become virtuous. All right. So we're talking about purpose here. What is the purpose of doing the right thing? And ultimately, what we're going to lead toward is happiness. And we'll unpack that a little more later. Okay. Here's a dialogue that one might see if the interviewer or the person asking the questions maybe was approaching it from an Aristotelian perspective. All right. What do you want to do after high school? I want to go to college. Why? I want to study economics. Why? I find the subject interesting. Why? Well, I find the topic of wealth inequality interesting. Why? Okay, this could go on and on, right? The process does not go on forever. If it did, Aristotle noted that that it would be in vain. All right. The process, the end of the process is eudaimonia or happiness, or a flourishing life. Okay, the idea of living a happy life, I guess, and doing it through achievement accomplished through virtue. Okay, so if we back up here and we think about all these answers, right? Ultimately, that core reason why, as we keep pushing whys and figure out why it is we want to do something, that final reason that we discover is reflected of eudaimonia. It's the one thing that can be appreciated and desired for its own sake. Okay, and the idea is to accomplish eudaimonia through reason and action. Okay, eudaimonia is, speaking of action, all right, it's through exercising virtue. Okay, Aristotle calls this a practical wisdom, and practical wisdom is not accomplished through books. It is accomplished through doing. I like the comparison to street smarts, right? You don't accomplish street smarts by studying street smarts, okay? You accomplish street smarts by, I guess, living and moving and operating on the streets, right? So in the same way, virtue is something that needs to be exercised and practiced. Being a virtuous person is something that must be, again, practiced. Okay. So what do we have here? I guess if we were to make this an equation, identifying proper function. Proper function means that you use your unique traits well. The unique traits of a hammer, again, to hit nails in, to pull nails out. For humans, this means using reason well. Why do we use reason? We use reason so that you may exercise the virtues. Well, why do we exercise the virtues? So as to achieve happiness, all right? And that happiness, again, happiness sounds like a superficial word, but the idea is that it's a life of flourishing, but not just something handed to you, right? It's you're living a great, happy life based on the virtues that you exhibit by being a virtuous person. Okay, there it is. That's Aristotle. I think that's probably my last page. Yep. So going back here. That's all I have to say for today. If you are not in class, please actually do move on to the next scenario and answer the questions in your reader that come after the reading. And as always, reach out to me if you do have any questions. Thank you.